Hi there, welcome to Terraland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Leo energy. And like usual on this channel, we're going to do two rows. The top row is going to be high vibe Leo energy. The bottom row is going to be a more worldly focused or shadowy Leo energy. For some people, it could be a battle going on within themselves because it's hard to, high vibe energy can just mean that you're moving forward in a new way. You've had some truth and clarity and some things that you need to leave behind in your life, even if that's just ways of thinking and perceiving yourself. And that can be hard. And in our more worldly, shadowy nature, we want to keep doing life the same way we've done it. But there will be some people who are definitely on the high vibe path because they've experienced some things in life that they've been illuminated to a truth, and there's no turning back and doing life the way they used to do it. And then there's some people in the world who have definitely decided they're not doing anything differently, and they have their way of viewing life, and they're going to keep living life that way. We all have free will, and there comes a point in time where some people quit kind of going back and forth, and they definitely know they're doing truth and love and believing in themselves and believing in their dreams. And there's some people in life who don't even believe in that, or they're just more motivated and inspired by the world, or their ego, or selfishness, or greed, immaturity, impulsiveness, and they're definitely going to keep, they think, living their life that way. So in the top row, we have the King of Wands and the Two of Wands, and the reason for their reading is the Queen of Wands, which is Leo energy. Some people, there might be some people in their past that people want to take action towards, that people they could love, things that they're motivated and inspired by. But they have a dream and they're listening to their intuition. Again, we all have this dualistic nature. We can take action. Aries energy is about, but I want that. And I want to do that. But some people have learned enough lessons in life that if I take action and I'm operating from my more worldly, shadowy nature, and I turn my back on listening to my intuition, it's not going to end up the way I think, because we have lessons to learn in life. And if we take action more out of pride and ego and selfishness and lust and greed and immaturity, impulsiveness, we're going to learn a tough lesson. And some people have learned those lessons and they're listening to their intuition. Now, some people might have communicated to some people, I have a dream and I'm listening to my intuition to guide me. And if they communicate that message, because the wands can talk about communication, now they're kind of waiting. Are some of these people I've communicated in my life, are they on the same page as me? Are they going to listen to their intuition? Are they going to move forward with me to bring a dream into reality? And right now, I think some people are just listening to their intuition and they're waiting to basically trust that, they will know when it's time to move forward with or without those people. Looking to truth, higher truth and justice to guide them. Because that's how their dreams can come into reality. The Nine of Cups can be about wish fulfillment. My intuition, if I keep focused on truth and love and being emotionally independent and loving myself so I don't indulge in my ego, that's how I will get emotional fulfillment. And that's what I'm listening to. Okay, and then what are these two cards that aren't showing themselves? The Three of Cups and the Emperor energy. So another Aries card. There could be some people you cut out of your life. You quit emotionally aligning with your more worldly Aries energy of like, I'm the boss. I can do whatever the hell I want. It's like, well, you can. But just like there's gravity in the world, you can keep jumping out a window thinking you're not going to get hurt, but you are. And I think the way this worldly system is set up is that we have free will, we have the knowledge of good and evil within us. Both seeds were planted, both of those aspects within ourself want to live life and kind of be in the driver's seat of our life. And we have the spiritual warfare that goes on within us because we want what we want, but there's consequences. And some people in shadowy energy haven't seen through the illusion of their own ego, and they keep thinking they can do whatever they want, and they maybe can't figure out why things don't work out the way they want. And other people in high vibe energy have been enlightened to the truth. I can live my life making it all about me and what I want without listening to my intuition, because we all have our intuition. It was a gift given to us to try to help guide us through difficult times. And our intuition tells us things like, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think you should do that. I think this is not a safe environment. I don't think this person is who they say they are, And sometimes if it's really a unique thing, we might listen to our intuition, but a lot of times we ignore it because we want to do what we want to do. And it probably didn't work out well for us. And so now people are like, no, I'm not the boss. I have a superpower. I was given intuition that helps guide me. And I've learned enough lessons that if I ignore my intuition and don't let truth, a higher truth and justice, and a more emotionally independent, hopeful, believing nature run my life, I'm going to run my life off into the ditch. And so when you quit aligning and emotionally working from that foundation within yourself, you could have quit being in a relationship with some people who are like that, where they're maybe still manipulated by their ego or their lust or their greed or their pride or their fear or their insecurity or self-centered nature, whatever it is. And some of those people might be people that you would like to move forward with you in truth, the King of Swords, Libra energy, where people are more balanced within each other, where they're not tipped out of balance into their shadow nature, where they have gotten balance within themselves, where they are more emotionally independent. The Nine of Cups of Pisces energy, it's like, I have learned to love myself so that I'm not manipulated by my ego and my fear and my more immature, indulgent nature, where I still got a lot of life lessons to learn. I have learned to love myself, to get out of my illusions, to offset my fears and my insecurities and my past pain and heartbreak with love and compassion and forgiveness. And I've offered love and compassion and forgiveness to the people in my past who maybe had won the battle within themselves, who caused me past pain and heartbreak. Fallible human beings, we all got lessons to learn. I want to now be in relationships with people who have won the battle, who have seen the truth, who did the work within themselves to be bold and brave and confident enough in their Aries energy to speak the truth, to act in truth, to cut out ways of being within ourself where we weren't independent of our more immature, indulgent, or egotistical, whatever nature, And I want to be in relationships with people who have learned to do that, who have separated from their ego nature, their worldly nature, their prideful, stubborn, egotistical nature, that I can have a just and fair and balanced and emotionally fulfilling relationship with. And then they also would have to be willing to become more independent from people in their life that they've maybe been codependent on, or other people in their life who would be happy to be in a relationship with them or have them be loyal to them because it makes them feel powerful or like they won, or they can manipulate them, or, then they can indulge in a relationship with them out of pride or ego or lust or greed. Sometimes it's friends and family, not a romantic interest, but some people are very much still focused in their more me nature, because Aries energy is about the self. And some people are still really manipulated by their own selfish nature, their own bossy, controlling nature, their own it should be my way or the highway nature. And though we could love them, if they're still focused on being motivated and inspired by the past or living life the way they've lived it instead of listening to their intuition, then I think, you realize they're not someone you can work together with because they're not balanced. They're all about themselves. And then when they're all about themselves and they have lessons learned, they're probably being manipulated by their fear, their insecurity, their pride, their ego. They're certainly not being manipulated by being emotionally independent and speaking their truth. And sometimes for some people, that's the problem. They would have to speak their truth. Some people, that's a stumbling block. Nope, I'm not willing to speak the truth. I'm going to keep doing life the way I've done it because I don't want to speak the truth. Or I would have to cut some people out of my life and be more emotionally independent. And they could be afraid those people would turn their back on them. And some people aren't willing to detach from some people in their life who, it's like, well, if you go live your authentic life, high vibe Leo energy of the Queen of Wands is emotionally living your authentic life. I don't want my fear and my insecurity and my pride and my ego and my materialistic nature to run my life. I want to go do the things in life that really motivate and inspire me from a place of love, higher truth, higher justice, higher calling. I want to feel balance within myself. I don't want to be manipulated by my shadow nature, and I don't want other people to manipulate me. I want to grow to my full potential, to live my truth, to be allowed to be more independent. And sometimes we have people in our lives and other people have people in their lives that don't want them to be independent from them. No, your loyalty is supposed to be to us. We're supposed to be the first priority in your life, even if we're your family, We don't care if you go get married to someone else. We're still supposed to be the primary focus in your life. Those are people you kind of juggle and have as like a side relationship to your friend group or your family group or your sibling. It's just like, what? But those people like to feel like they have control over other people. And some people willingly let those people have control in their life because they're not emotionally independent. They're codependent. I'm codependent on these people for my sense of stability or security or my own emotional well-being. I haven't learned to fill my own cup, to know my worth and value, to stand in my truth, that I deserve to be my own independent person in the world who has my own ideas about what kind of jobs and relationships and things would make me happy in life. And sometimes people want us to make our life and live life just the way they live life because then it makes them feel comfortable or something, But like, oh no, you're not supposed to go get the job you really like. You're not supposed to go get the career you really like. You're not supposed to hang out with the people that you really like. So anyway, I think you could have communicated with some people. And for some of the people, sometimes we can have people turn our back to us and they're hiding the fact that they're trying to emotionally manipulate us and control us. And it's kind of like, you could have been in a relationship with someone where it seemed like a true counterpart. We could have a lot of similarities. We have some of similar backgrounds or similar woundings where it seems like, we could really work together because we understand each other. But when it got to be where you weren't letting them manipulate you anymore, and you were kind of like, well, I have my own dreams and it shouldn't be just all about you. It should be about us. And that means, everybody might have to give up some things that they had wanted if they were alone, living life singly, that if we're going to move together, well, if I'm going to have to give up some things, you should have to shave off some things too, that to try for everybody to get the most of what they wanted to accomplish in life together. And some people are just like, well, that's not enough. If it's not all about me, and if you're not making your focus all about me, well, then that's like a deal breaker. I'm in my ego. It's all about me. And you could have had to speak your truth that it's not all about you. It is if you're single, but if you're going to be in a relationship with someone, it has to be just and fair and balanced, and you need to become more independent of your me nature. And there could be other people in your life, between children and siblings and parents and friends that, as some of you already got out of that kind of job or relationship and are going to move forward in life, you'd like some people to come with you. And you could have taken action, because the masculines in tarot are about how you could have taken action, and the wands can talk about communication. To tell some people, I would like to work together with you. I do view you as someone who I think harnesses high vibe Aries energy, regardless of what zodiac sign they are. That's what my intuition tells me, but we can't really know the truth of who people really feel like at their core in a way. And I think you're just listening to your intuition about when it's time to speak your truth. And some of those people that you might have communicated with could be doing this work within themselves, just like you had to do this work within yourself to love and believe in yourself and listen to your intuition, to be able to be like a leader in your own life. High vibe Emperor energy is where, I have learned all these lessons in life. I've kind of driven my life off into the ditch because I love them. I could have driven my life off into the ditch because I got caught up in, I don't know, my more passionate nature. I could have driven my life off into the ditch, getting too much up in my head and my mind and my 3D world because of whatever. The Emperor energy is about, I have learned all these lessons in the 4 elements that the tarot talks about: your heart, your mind, your passionate creative nature, your 3D world. And now I've learned not to let 1 or 2 aspects of myself run my life where other aspects of my life get ignored. Oh, but I love them. And then, your 3D world and your stability and your security and logic and reason goes out the window. We all gotta learn those lessons. It's part of life. And you've gotten to a place, and what somebody who you could have been in a relationship with who thought it should be all about them, and some people are in that relationship right now. Some of you had been in that type of relationship, and it was kind of like, I want to emotionally manipulate you to stop you from listening to your intuition and speaking your truth and standing up for what you believe in. You should make your life about kind of indulging me. And what they didn't know about you is that you do listen to your intuition. They're not your God. Your ego isn't the God of your life. Your fear isn't the God of your life. You do adhere to a higher truth and justice. And that you are doing this work within yourself to love yourself and listen to your intuition, and based on all the life lessons you learn, to make a really serious, important decision in your life. Not just your ego, not just based on being manipulated by your worldly nature. And you did that work within yourself, and some of the people in your life maybe didn't think you would do that. And they could have tried to stop you from doing that. And just like you maybe could have moved on and are making those decisions in your life, speaking your truth, being independent of them, there's other people going through that right now. And some of the people in their life don't realize that they're doing this work within themselves. And I guess you'll find out who's coming with and who's not. So let's go look at the shadowy energy. We have the Page of Pentacles, where we could be more, and then under that we have the shadow, which is the devil. The Six of Pentacles, exchanging foundations, and the Two of Wands wanting to be in denial that you're in a mental prison about love and moving forward in life, to look at life differently and to take the lessons that you've learned to look at life as more of an adventure to be lived. You know, there's some people that are really afraid of doing life any differently than they've done before, because it would require them to not be manipulated by the world and ego and other people in their life who might try to be the boss of their life. And they'd have to take that bold, brave, confident action to trust if their intuition is telling them this is shadowy. This is not just and fair. It might look by worldly standards that you have it all, but is it love? Is it just? Is it fair? Is it balanced? Is something more about the other person? Are they kind of bossy and controlling? You know, are we kind of indulging someone else in their shadowy nature? Is someone indulging us in our shadowy nature where we're not growing to our full potential because we're not in relationships with people who challenge us to be all that we can be? You know, we can be in relationships because we're codependent on them, or we can be in relationships where people are more codependent on us, and then we can kind of be the bossy, controlling person in the relationship, you know? Some people kind of indulge maybe their more immature, codependent nature with the Page of Pentacles. Because in order to move forward in life with the Devil card, they'd have to face their fears and insecurities to get more balance within themselves and listen to their intuition. If they're in something, it could have been for money. They could have someone invest in them because of money or stability or image or status, and they didn't want to see the truth of it. If they did it, they don't want to see the truth that they did it for those reasons. If someone else is in a relationship for them, they don't want to see the truth that that's maybe why the person is in the relationship with them. And sometimes we just don't see the truth. You know, we can be a loving, nurturing person and we think everybody else is motivated by love and all that good stuff. And we just haven't learned the lesson that there's some people in the world that are shadowy. There's some people in the world who wear a false mask. It's all about the money and the status and the ego and the image. And that's why they get into relationships with people. You know, and sometimes we're just naive and gullible and we haven't seen the truth. And then we get in a relationship with them. And then they do kind of seem to be bossy and controlling. And it seems like they're not making good decisions in the relationship. And then they think that we should still stay in a relationship with them, even though they're being in shadowy devil energy, like, well, I'm selfish, or I'm immature, or I'm prideful, or I'm egotistical, or I'm hurtful, I'm unkind, whatever. And they think we should keep exchanging time, energy, effort, and resources with them and just keep staying in denial of the truth. For some of them, if they have some things of the world that we want, like it can even be the things of the world, and the devil can just be that they're attracted or attractive, or that they do have money, or they have social clout, or whatever they got, and sometimes we don't want to see the truth that could be kind of what makes us stay in it, or that we are more codependent, that we haven't learned to love and believe in ourselves. This whole point of getting in a shadowy relationship is to get us to love and believe in ourselves and because it probably causes us a lot of inner conflict, for us to start listening to our intuition, to start standing up for ourselves and speaking our truth. That I'm not going to stay in a job or relationship just because of the money or the status or the power or whatever. I might love you, I might be attracted to you, but if this isn't just and fair and balanced, where I am treated as my own individual who has my own dreams and aspirations, and you think I should turn my back on all my dreams and aspirations to make my life all about you, well, that's kind of self-centered, right? So you get everything you want, and I'm just supposed to turn my back on listening to my intuition about what I really think is just and fair, or getting my divine inheritance, which is being in a more just and fair and balanced and emotionally fulfilling relationship with other people who harness high vibe Leo energy. They're authentic, they're warm, they're loving, they're encouraging. So I'm going to be in a relationship with someone who harnesses shadowy Leo energy, shadowy Libra, shadowy Pisces. So it's all about you. You're the boss. If you say something's just and fair, apparently it's just and fair. And I'm just supposed to indulge you because for some reason you think life is all about you. Indulging in relationships with people where it's all about you. I guess we're all just pawns to be used in their game of life. Who can I have sex with and indulge myself with? Perfect. Will you give up your listening to your intuition and give up your dreams and give up what a higher truth and justice to, if anything I say is just and fair, it's just and fair. I'll be happy. Do you want to indulge in that? Shadowy Pisces is living in illusion. Do you want to live in the illusion? Are you willing to invest in me? I have. The devil would be, I have all those things of the world. I'll share some of those things of the world with you so long as you stay in denial of the truth. Do you want to invest in me? You might feel stuck and you'd maybe like me to take more creative, inspired action in life, but I'm in a mental prison about love. So I just want to kind of be an immature player and keep moving forward this way in the relationship. How about I stay in a mental prison about love, you be loving to me, and we'll move forward like that. You trying to motivate and inspire me by love, and me being in my ego about willing to wrap my brain around this game of life and heal from my past pain and heartbreak and my fears and insecurities about love, and we'll just keep moving forward that way. So, what do we got down here? We have 2 cards not showing themselves. And then we've got the 3 of Wands, the 4 of Wands, and the Emperor. Wow. Well, I suppose it does make sense. Leo energy really is kind of about maybe the ego and, is it about being in the spotlight or is it shining your light in the world? And it's not about being in the spotlight. I want to authentically live my life. I really don't care who pays attention to me or not. But in our ego, it could be, I want to be in the spotlight and I want people to look at me and I want to look really successful and victorious and I want everybody to see me, and other people can kind of shine their light. It's kind of like true leaders in the world who really should be looked up to and admired, maybe aren't. And the people who are kind of maybe more all about themselves, kind of get a lot of attention in the world. And it's just kind of like, well, are you more here for ego or are you here to live your authentic life? Let's go look at these 2 cards that aren't showing themselves. The 5 of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups. So I would say some of the shadowy people could feel left out in the world, like they're not getting enough attention. Feel left out in the cold from love. Don't want to learn lessons in life and move forward in a more hopeful, believing nature. They kind of align with their more shadowy Taurus energy, which is Earth sign energy, which is about putting in work and effort to have the status and the image and having people maybe look up to and admire you and be surrounded by luxury in life. And then in the Knight of Cups Pisces energy, again, it can be people who have these illusions about what it means to be in a relationship. And some of them have a lack mentality and they're kind of codependent Instead of putting in the work and effort to love and believe in themselves, to stand in their own truth and be more independent in the world, some people could feel like I'm not enough by myself and I don't feel good enough or whatever. And I make offers to people to get in a relationship. So in the Three of Wands energy, it looks like, look, my dreams are coming into reality. Look, everybody, look, I got together with someone in a relationship. Look at me, I'm the boss. But it isn't about really being someone who makes good decisions in their life. They could be making decisions more out of enough is never enough, like financially or ego-wise. It's like an addict. If some people derive their sense of worth and value based on how they think other people in the world perceive them, enough is never enough because they haven't learned to fill their own cup emotionally. It's always chasing like the next high. What can I do to make people look at me, to be in the spotlight, to make people see me and look how successful and victorious I am? Look at the new conquests I had, or look what I'm doing, or look at the new person I got to get in a relationship with. Because that's where they derive, you either empower yourself where you're not codependent on the world. The world can think whatever they want. They're going to anyway. And you empower yourself. I feel confident and balanced and loved and fulfilled within myself. I don't need to be in the spotlight. I don't need everybody focusing on me. I'm going to live my authentic life, and that makes me feel proud of myself. And other people don't do that work within themselves to get balanced within themselves, to love themselves. And they're still caught up in the illusion of the world that, isn't it about how other people view me? Isn't that the most important thing? And that's where they derive their sense of power. And then people who feel empowered within themselves don't feel powerful by trying to dominate and control other people. They wouldn't even be interested in doing that. But other people who haven't done the work to feel empowered within themselves could feel like, in order to feel powerful, I have to try to dominate and control other people. That would be shadowy Emperor energy and shadowy Aries energy. People have to view me as the boss. Why? How about you be a true leader and lead by example and give people the free will choice to follow or not? They have free will. And some people are like, well, I don't like them to have free will. I want them to do it my way. So I think some people in the shadowy energy right now, for some reason, are expecting their dreams to come into reality. In a foundation or a home or a workplace, maybe thinking someone is going to make them an offer, and maybe because they could have made an offer to someone. For some, they could have made an offer to a Capricorn because the shadow, the devil nature is represented by Capricorn energy. They aligned with that within themselves in shadowy Capricorn energy. High vibe Capricorn energy does the work with it. All of us, when we harness high vibe Capricorn energy, we do the work to free ourselves from our more emotionally indulgent, selfish nature, me nature, to be inspired to listen to our intuition and a higher truth and justice, to be independent of our ego. But some people invest in their more worldly Capricorn nature. It's all about the world. It's all about my ego and my image and my wants and my needs and my lust and my greed. And for some of those people, they exchanged, if they were in a relationship with people where it seemed like, oh my gosh, this is like everything anybody could want. For some, because they're more motivated and inspired by the world and money and materialism and status and image, they could have exchanged that foundation based on truth with living their life wanting to be in denial of the truth because they're more motivated and inspired by the things of the world. And if they're in a relationship with people who are more motivated by, truth and justice and love and dreams, and they don't know if they'll get those things of the world that they want, or I could just see where it could kind of be a drag. you know, if you're in a relationship with someone and you're in this mismatched type of relationship where someone doesn't drive their ego from, oh my gosh, we got to go out in the world and we got to do this and we got to talk to these people and we got to wear this, and, and the other person is totally consumed with that. You could imagine, the other people are just kind of like, are you going to quit doing that? And can we move forward in a more just and fair and balanced relationship? And could you please quit trying to manipulate me and control me? Can we do a just and fair and loving relationship? And the other person's like, damn, I wish you would get rid of that foundation and live in denial of the truth like I do and make your life more about money and materialism. And basically, if you don't, I don't want to be in a relationship with you either. Because I would rather be in a relationship with someone who doesn't see the truth of who I am, who also likes to make their world and their life about, look at me and, oh my gosh, and, and if can you imagine when you were growing up, whether it was your girlfriends you hung out with or if you're a guy and your guy friends, odds are people who are into that, like, oh my gosh, we got to be the center of attention. Oh my gosh, we got to stand on the tables. Oh my gosh, I can never get enough attention. Someone who's not like that, but they could be friends, maybe live on the same street, the same block, whatever, grew up as childhood friends, even if it's just a friendship, you can see where you kind of really, you're motivated and inspired by different things. And you really, it's just not a copacetic relationship. But, we can get in relationships with people, romantic relationships, because there is a lot alike about us. But then we find out that how people, what they're motivated and inspired by is different. By that time, we're already kind of emotionally invested. We could have thought, oh my gosh, this is going to come into a marriage. And then it's just like, oh my gosh, like I could love you, but I really wish you were different than you are. And I really wish you would quit trying. It's kind of like, well, I would say high vibe energy would be kind of trying to discipline more shadowy energy. Don't be so impulsive. Don't be so reckless. Quit being so loud or obnoxious or having to be the center of attention, And the other person would rather be with someone who's right there with them, doing all that stuff, And for some of the people that are in a mismatched relationship, both people could feel like they're not in a relationship with someone who's on the same page as them. These people could feel like they feel left out in the cold from a dream because they got in a relationship with someone who views life completely differently than them. It's like, shit, how'd I get in a relationship with them? I thought I was going to get in a relationship with someone who was all about ego and image and status and money and power. And this person doesn't, we might have a lot of stability and security and image and status or whatever, but, like we're not playing on it the way we could to, make it seem like we really got it all. Could we flash some things or, I don't know, some, I just think it's really interesting. But for some people that are in shadowy energy, they could be in a relationship with someone who's very just and fair and balanced and loving. Those people, for some reason, could feel like maybe a relationship they had wanted to be in the past didn't work out. But because they want it to look like their dreams are coming into reality, they're willing to invest in someone more out of their fear or their codependency or feeling a lack of stability and security. And they're hoping the person they're in a relationship with doesn't see the truth, that that's why they're in the relationship with them. And it can go the other way too. There's some people that have more than plenty. They have more than a lot of people. But for some people, enough is never enough. And some of those people could have gotten out of one relationship to go get in a relationship with someone else who they felt they'd have more status, more image, or this person's more attractive. And, if that's kind of what drives and motivates them, some of the people they went and got in a relationship maybe weren't kind of seeing the truth that the person they're in a relationship with is kind of much more worldly focused than they thought, and could have kind of invest in them emotionally, but it's more to emotionally manipulate them. And some of the people they could have gotten in a relationship with, of course, could kind of like that and kind of could indulge themselves in it. For some of them, they could love those people. But it's just realizing that we're not on the same page, If I stay in the relationship with you, yes, I might have someone who's willing to stay in the relationship with me for whatever reason. But I wouldn't really being challenged to grow and mature myself. Or I could be in a relationship with someone because maybe when something didn't work out the way I wanted, instead of listening to my intuition and being more independent and standing in my truth, maybe I kind of gave in to indulging myself, and I kind of got in a relationship with someone who, for whatever reason, they wanted to get in a relationship, and I know that I'm not in the relationship for the right reason. Could be for some people. And some people could be struggling within themselves. There is maybe an opportunity to be in a relationship with someone who let go of being in a relationship with people that was kind of shadowy. And if they align with their more high vibe nature and listen to their intuition and get out of their ego and denial that either they've been indulging in something that really isn't in their best benefit, or someone's kind of manipulating them and their intuition is telling them this person isn't in the relationship with me for the right reasons. If those people listen to their intuition, which is what I think they're doing right now, some people are going to speak their truth that I am going to let this go to be more independent and love myself and believe in my dreams and not live a life of indulging for fear, insecurity, or money or whatever. And some people won't, and they'll keep thinking they can do things the way they want. I just think if they do that, they're going to learn a painful lesson because they're not letting their love and intuition guide them. They're investing and taking action because they're kind of immature and they have some hard lessons to learn. That they might have a shadowy philosophy of life, either about themselves or about how they view relationships, or just much more aligned with their worldly view of life, and they're going to end up feeling stuck because they weren't willing to see the truth. They were tempted to kind of get in a relationship for money, or they know they're offering someone money for them to be in a relationship with them. And I think they have their more youthful, hopeful, believing nature that does believe in their dreams. And they can't get rid of that nature, just like we can't get rid of our shadowy nature. But if we align with our loving nature, we can temper our fearful nature. We can offer it love and compassion and forgiveness. And, we're going to work on the things that we want in the world, but we're going to do it from justice and fairness and truth and love. And they're trying to ignore their more loving, intuitive nature. And I think they're going to be in a mental prison because they either would know that they're moving forward with someone, either because they're like codependent emotionally on someone, or the person that they're moving forward with in a relationship is kind of immature and emotionally codependent on them. And if that person is being truthful and honest and authentic, I think it's going to bother them more because they know they're not being truthful and honest, and they're kind of indulging themselves, especially if they're in a relationship with someone who's loving, and they know they're kind of taking advantage of someone who doesn't see the truth, that they're kind of indulging themselves. And until they get so callous that their conscience bothers them enough, they might always keep indulging in it. So let's go see what's coming up for the people who harness high vibe Leo energy that they might not see coming. Okay. We had 2 cards that came out, and I think they kind of flipped in reverse. And the reason it came out is because of the Leo Strength card. The Knight of Swords in reverse and the Magician in reverse. Well, I think what that could mean is you're no longer manipulated by your own shadow nature anymore. And if there was people in your life who turn their back to you because they are kind of manipulated by their lust or their greed or their self-centeredness or whatever, you found those people to be harnessing shadowy Scorpio, where they're emotionally shallow and superficial and manipulative in their Gemini energy. And I think, you have cut those people out of your life, and some other people who temper their fears and their insecurities and their more codependent nature and love and believe in themselves and listen to their intuition, they're going to cut people like that out of their life also. As you're moving forward in your life, you might meet different people in the world who want to be in relationship with you, but they don't know that you operate with those cards not showing themselves. They don't know that you operate from a foundation of love and that you've learned all these lessons in life. You might shine very bright in the world. You might be attractive, charismatic, whatever. And some people don't know that you've learned these lessons in life about people who are just more about themselves and indulging. And I think, because we live in a dualistic world, you have free will choice. I think you're going to have different types of people that you meet. Some of them will be in that type of shadowy energy, and you're going to listen to your intuition and speak your truth that, I'm not desperate to get in a relationship. I get to know people. I speak my truth, and I want you to speak your truth. Are you emotionally independent? Or are you more indulgent? And the people who your intuition tells you could harness shadowy Libra, Pisces, Leo, and Aries energy, where they're more about themselves, they're manipulative, they're indulgent, they think it's just and fair to live that way, live more from their mind than their heart. I think those people, you're going to wish them peace and move on. And if you meet some people who harness those high vibe Aries, Leo, Libra, Pisces energy, who seem to be speaking the truth, are motivated and inspired by love, have learned lessons in life, are emotionally independent of the past, and they're more egoic nature, those are the people you're going to move forward with. But see, there's some people in the world who don't know if you've put an end to being caught up in the illusion and tempted by your pride and your ego and your lust and your greed. It's like, yeah, I've been there and that didn't work out, so I'm not anymore in my more emotionally shallow, what was that other card? Emotionally shallow, manipulated by my ego nature. I maintain balance and stand in truth and justice and being emotionally independent. Are you emotionally independent, or are you in your ego? Because if you are, I'm not interested. Okay, what's coming up for the people who harness some shadowy Leo energy that they might not see coming up? So I also think with these cards not showing themselves, you would like to work with someone who's a high vibe emperor, but you might not be showing that to the world, but you could have communicated to someone who you think harnesses that energy, and you're listening to their intuition, wondering if they're going to speak to you and communicate truth to you, that they're not going to live from ego and they're ready to detach, blah, blah, blah. And if they don't, you're going to listen to your intuition and keep moving forward and speaking your truth and taking action in the world to get the justice you deserve. I think the people in shadowy energy hide from the world, that some people left their life because those people got out of kind of their own lack mentality with love, and they had an opportunity to move forward with those people, but they figured they could go find someone else who they could manipulate instead of dealing with their own issues and speaking their truth. And some of them are hiding that they feel left out in the cold from love because they let loving people go in their life. But they still think that their dreams are going to come into reality, that everything will work out for them. Let's use a different deck. What is coming up for the people who harness some shadowy Leo energy that they might not see coming? Justice, 9 of Wands, because of the 6 of Wands. Well, for one, I don't think that they thought the people who do maintain balance within themselves, who adhere to a higher truth and justice, they didn't expect those people to have good boundaries to them. And probably from the 9 down to the 6 is letting go of a 4 of Wands. No, a 3 of Wands. They never thought those people would let go of thinking their dreams could come into reality with this person. And they did, and they moved on. And they maybe didn't think that would happen because they've never done that. They've never gotten balanced within themselves and listen to their intuition and things to guide their decisions. They keep taking action more out of pride and ego or lust or greed. And they thought the other people would too. And the other people moved on. And they thought it was just and fair to be defensive and operate from pride and ego. And that didn't work out so well for them. The other thing they might not see is that they might have someone wanting to come towards them to get what they think is the justice they deserve. But that person might be kind of prideful and egotistical or manipulative and controlling or full of themselves. And they might be kind of defensive to moving forward with those people. It does seem like it might be everything they thought they wanted. Oh my gosh, you're not bold and brave and creative and just and fair and balanced and emotionally independent? Well, that does seem like everything I wanted. Well, part of it might be just because they would have to let go of maybe thinking the people that they had wanted to be in their life, that they thought they were manipulating, that for sure thinking those people would come back. They have to let go of that and move forward with these people. And again, if those people harness high vibe energy, it's like, damn, here's another person who's just and fair and balanced and doesn't operate from ego. Why can I not get away from these type of people? Where can I find me a good old person who operates from ego? And then for some of them, they might find someone like that and they're kind of defensive because they know kind of what a more defensive, prideful, egotistical, emotionally manipulative, maybe bossy and controlling person who thinks it's just and fair to be that way is like, because they know they're like that. And if they're in a relationship with someone who's kind of like themselves, you know, it might end up having to be all about the image and the status and the money, which is what drives and motivates them. But they could have wanted someone who doesn't think it's just and fair to be defensive and operate from ego, because they're kind of used to being with people who temper their ego and maybe are more creative, inspired, and loving, but they weren't willing to do the work to move forward with those people. So they might get what they deserve, which is justice, that if you weren't willing to do the work and effort to temper your fears and your insecurities and let go of your more emotionally shallow, superficial, manipulative ways of being to move forward in truth and love, well, then it's only just and fair that you get in a relationship with someone who's like yourself, who also thinks it's just and fair to be defensive and operate from pride and ego and defensiveness, who wants to look like they have it all. But they also might not be someone who connects in with their emotions and their intuition, who might like to create the illusion of love. So by worldly standards, it looks like you have it all, but everybody's operating more from pride and ego and fear of being hurt. So I think up here, the King of Swords means that the high vibe people will get the justice they deserve. And I think this justice down here, and the reason you get it is because you did do the work to align with that within yourself and you're speaking your truth. The other people, this one down here in the justice card almost seems like a karmic justice. You know, they kind of reaped what they sowed, and which we all do, but you have to take action in truth and love to get your divine inheritance. And these people were defensive of getting out of their ego, and they thought they could maybe use their power or their status or their charm or their looks or their sexuality to get what they want. And I think I don't know, I just think it's more of a karmic consequence of justice there. Now, any of the people that were in a shadowy relationship like that or in one right now, if those people are doing this work within themselves to get out of their own lack mentality and investing in their own kind of shadowy nature that has control of their life, and therefore then they could be in relationships with people they're kind of investing in who might reflect that back to them, who might be kind of bossy and controlling. If those people take the inspired action within their foundation to stand up for themselves and what they believe in, those people will get karmic justice because they were willing to have good boundaries, and they're going to be able to leave it and come up here, and because they're starting to listen to their intuition. And if they don't, they're going to go another round of feeling defensive and in their ego because they weren't willing to speak their truth and listen to their intuition. So they're going to do another round of thinking they're the boss, thinking their dreams are going to come into reality, but it maybe doesn't happen. Because if these people think it's just and fair to operate from ego, even though they might have other people who get in relationship with them, other people become defensive to them because they see this person thinks it's just and fair to either be about themselves, about the ego and the image, and the other people are like, is this dream really going to come into reality? I don't think it is. So then people don't want to be in a relationship with them anymore, and they temper their own pride and ego to speak the truth that you're indulgent, you're all about yourself, and I don't want to be in a relationship with someone who's all about themselves. So justice kind of keeps being served, where I think these people think they're going to get what they want, but they don't. So there you go. I wish you peace, love, and joy there, Leo, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.